Good evening, my lovelies, and a very warm welcome to a very cold, windy bottom here in the Peak District. And you're all a bit blurred. Do I need to give you a wipe? Brace yourselves, my love. I'm going to come in uninvited and wipe you. Bear with. There, that's not too bad, is it? That's better. We can actually see each other. Splendid. Right. Excellent. Good evening. How are you all? Thank you for joining me. It's Boaty here, coming in your eyes and ears. And isn't it cold? Isn't it bloody cold? Right. Let's see. Who have we got with us? Oh, now then, you YouTube lot. I'm hoping that we're going to be joined tonight by some brave souls from my singles network. So if any of them do venture in, I want you to be nice to them. Don't go flushing their heads down the loo or stealing their dinner money or anything like that. I know what you lot are like. Cheers. Right, let's get cracking. Now then, features. Does anybody remember the features that we launched on Monday night? I'm sure we've all had a glass of wine since then, but ongoing features, we've got celebrities out of context. Tell me about the celebrities that you've encountered and in some way they were out of context, out of how you would normally expect them to be. Have a go at that. Obviously, I want to know what you had for dinner. That goes without saying, except it didn't because I said it. Teenage crushes, we'll keep rolling with that. So who did you have on a poster on your bedroom wall when you were a young, callow teenager? Now there's a couple of dodgy features that I don't know if we really want to broach again. But there was, there was OAPWAPs. I don't know if we want to go with that. You remember what it was. So yeah, go with that if you want. And there's a similar one about politicians worth. So yeah, we might have exhausted that one actually. What else? Oh God, yes. And things or opportunities you've missed out on because you were having a dump. That's not my feature, that was somebody else's. But go with it if you like. Or if you've got a new feature, feel free to throw it in. I've still got a long list of questions from about 2 weeks ago that we answered a couple of, but we never seem to get round to. If anybody's got any new questions, feel free to throw them at me. Tell me how the last few days have been for you. Are you keeping warm? And yeah, throw anything you like at me tonight. I'm up for pretty much anything. So let's see who we've got. Oh gosh, plenty of comments. Let's see who we've got. Tracy Greenwood, the Greenwood, except no alternatives. Well, she was first here, so good evening, Tracy. How the devil are you? How are your doings? Lovely to see you. Jimmy Quinn is with us. Splendid. Hi, Jimmy. Pankman is here and waving, so have a wave. Oh, points. We did points, didn't we, on Monday? Did anybody keep score? I think everybody kind of ended up on 10 points, didn't they? Gilbert T. Codwacker is in the house. Of course he is. Good evening, Mr. Codwacker. Oh, may I call you Gilbert? Or even Gilbert. We could put like a French or European slant on tonight's live stream. Could be all dark and sultry and... Oh, yeah, talking about being dark and sultry, there's a topic for discussion. I signed up for a dating app today. If you want to go there, feel free. Where do we get to? Mustard's taught him how to wipe the lens. Yeah, you were looking distinctly blurry. It's because I took the elderly Apple iPhone recording device in the car with me. 'Cause I took it to work because I was a bit late getting off. I was all in a tither. I was all behind like a cow's tail because I had a hot bath and luxuriated in it for too long, and sort of got out of the bath, and it was time for me to leave. So getting dressed and so on was a somewhat rushed affair. So I took the phone with me, intending to set up the live in advance in a quiet time at work, and it kind of didn't happen properly. So you got all steamy in the car, and I have de-steamed you. I have wiped you tenderly, and it was a very touching moment for me, and I hope for you too. Now then, good evening, Mr. Boaty, says Matthew Harrison. Good evening to you, sir. Bad Books is here. Good evening, Bunny lad. Good evening. How the devil are we? We will be nice to the single peeps. Well, let's see if any of them are brave and turn up. If any of my singles lot are watching this, give me a shout out in the comments, please, so that I can welcome you, and so can my lovely YouTube lot. They're ever so nice. You'll like them. They're charming people. Underneath, you know. Are all these ladies coming ready for purchase? Gilbert T. Codwacker, feel free to try. I don't know if there'll be ladies, I don't know if there'll be gents, I don't know if any of them will actually rock up. We will see. Hopefully they will. They're amazing people. You'll like them. Oh God, somebody's gone with the OAPWAP. Judy Dench. Why not? There's many a good tune played on an old fiddle, as they say. Oh God, are we going to go all night again with the OAPWAPs? I thought that was an episode that we might have left in the past. If there are any new people here, I'm going to have to explain what an OAPWAP is. It's basically, how can I put this delicately? It's naming well-known people who are over the age of 60, but are still, how can I put this, desirable. Let's leave it at that. And if you can work out what OAPWAP stands for, then be that on your own head. Yeah, there was another thing, wasn't there? Celebrity disappointments. When you meet a celebrity and it's disappointing for some way. And we can do a feed off of that feature. If you remember, on Monday night, one of my lovely singles crew told us about the time that she met, what's his name? Martin Lewis, money-saving expert. And he poked his tongue out at her in a seductive fashion. And who knows what would have happened, but he had to go off and film his TV show. So if you've met a celebrity and been disappointed, tell me about it. And if you've met a celebrity who behaved in a seductive fashion, or perhaps you were seductive towards them, let's hear about that. Beards and Bangers is in the house. Good evening, sir. How are your fantastic cars? This guy, I've told you before, go and watch his channel. He's absolutely flying. Have you got 100 subs yet? I think you were on 99 when I looked. You should be over by now, hopefully. He's got some fabulous cars. He's got a ZT260. He's just acquired a BRM. He's got a ZT190, and he's probably bought another 7 by now. I've not watched his channel for 48 hours. Good evening, yeah, but he says good evening, Boatyard, and I won't take offence because predictive text will always change my name to Boatyard. Gilbert T. Codwacker had a crush on Becky Want. I've got no idea who that is. That seems to be a recurring theme. People mentioning celebrities and I've got no clue who they are. Admittedly, I haven't had a television for the last 10 years or so. Excuse me. Oh, not a bad drop. Don't forget you were going to tell us why you were Boaty. Right, yeah, okay, I might dust that one off early because it bangs on a bit. Gilbert asks, would I date Angela Rippon? No, but if you would, all power to you. I mean, I would have back in the day. When she did that Morecambe and Wise Christmas special thing and showed a bit of leg, I mean, she was a splendid looking woman, but I mean, she's got to be knocking on a bit now, hasn't she? Bless her. I mean, you know, there are limits. I mean, I know I'm hardly in the first flush of youth myself, but anyway. Oh, we're on to dinners. Oh, hello. I'm being pinged on the singles thing. Right, I only caught a glimpse of that, but my cousin Helen is watching but can't comment for some reason. I don't know why she can't comment because I only saw the headline flash up. It might be because you're not signed in, my lovely, or you don't have a YouTube account or something. But welcome anyway. Dinners. Bad Books had pork casserole done in the... Oh, well, this is disappointing. It started so well. Pork casserole done in the slow cooker. A lovely thing on a cold winter's day. But he goes on to say that it was a disaster and bloody awful. So, well, sorry to hear that. Did you plough through it and persevere, or did you get the chippy? Gilbert T. Godwacker, going into pubs on fire. Yeah, well, that's a reference to his other feature, things that you've missed by having a dump. Basically, he was evacuating himself in a Dewberry Firkin, in a Wetherspoons pub, when everybody else evacuated the pub because it was on fire. Oh, Chris Maguire's here. Good evening. Tracy's telling us about her last few days. Got her first point of view driving vid up on YouTube. I'm not the driver, so feel free to critique. Okay, what's your YouTube channel, my lovely? Let's give it a shout out. Right, Helen hasn't got a subscription thingy. You can quickly sign into a YouTube account. It's dead easy. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's perfectly safe. Trust me. If not, you can just watch me, and I'll talk about you behind your back and tell everybody secrets about when we were kids. And that day we went to Alton Towers. Right, where did I get to? Right, Gilbert T. Codwacker. What? Well, you might have thought that you won. I don't know who won on the Monday night point tally because everybody was bloody cheating. Tracy, you think you had 2 points? Right. I think we'll end Monday giving everybody 10 points because somebody cheated. I think they started at about 140,000 and we ended up compromising on giving them 10 points, which was a total cheat. They didn't have 10 points. So let's give everybody 10 points and start from there. And I'll award points on an ad hoc basis throughout this symposium. Gilbert T. Godwacker doesn't even eat fish, which is a bit of a non sequitur. Matthew Harrison got 5 points. The extra one was for the bugger Hoff joke that I made after everyone left. Yeah, that was a very good joke. Have a bonus 5 points and start on 10 with everybody else. Tracy says that I'm still a bit unfocused. It might be the screen resolution or the connection. Well, I'll give you another wipe, but you're looking okay from my perspective. Have you considered that you may be drunk? It is quite late. No, it's looking pretty okay from me. Just brace yourselves, my love. I'll give you another tender wipe. There you go. That is looking clear as a bell from my side. Should we just say that Trace is pissed? Right, okay, where did I get to? Diddly-do, diddly-do. Mustard wants to date Jamie Oliver. Well, what Mustard does in his own time is his own business. But that's definitely not going into one of our films. Do I drink in the bath? No. I kind of have quite a bleak bath, if I'm completely honest. Now, I know it's kind of a thing, ladies and gentlemen, in these days of social and bathroom equality. And I know that people like to luxuriate in soft light with candles and I was going to say arithmetic, and that's completely the wrong word, isn't it? Somebody help me out. Aromatic, with smelly stuff. That's what I like, smelly stuff. And kind of foam in the bath and all of that sort of thing, and a nice glass of wine. And I kind of don't. I can enjoy a perfectly bleak bath with neat bath water, nothing in it, and quite a harsh bathroom light, and I'm absolutely fine with that. I like to think in the bath. It's where I do a lot of my best thinking and have my best ideas, if any of my ideas ever have any merit at all. Sometimes I put a bit of Radox in because it takes me back to childhood in the Welsh cottage. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, always used to put a bit of Radox in my bath as a treat. Of course, it used to be a powder in those days, and now it's a liquid. I don't know if you can still get the powder. And it was a lovely bathroom. It had this fantastic, huge wooden toilet seat that, I mean, it was it was a goodly sized toilet, a well-sized bowl. But the seat actually overhung the bowl. It was a splendid size, and it was incredibly comfortable. These modern plastic soft clothes jobs, they might be more hygienic, but you lose the feeling in your legs after an hour or so. You can't settle in for a good old read. But yeah, bath. No, I don't drink in the bath. I suppose I have on occasions when I had company, but it's not something I habitually do. Let's move on from my bathing habit, shall we? It's peeing down, yeah. Weather's been horrendous here, days and days of rain again. Has Mustard vaporised? I imagine, well, I know for a fact that Captain Mustard is still suffering from a lack of broadband after his house move. The last time he mentioned it, the service provider of choice said that they would need to dig up the road outside his house, and they needed permission from the council, not unnaturally, and it was all going to be an incredibly lengthy process. And in the meantime, he's been eating up data, and he's skint as usual, as am I, and as I'm sure many of you. So I imagine that he doesn't have the data to join us. But he's here in spirit, and more importantly, we can talk about him behind his back as well. So there's another feature, talking about Mustard behind his back. Oh God, Facebook comment from my cousin Helen, who says, is Mustard single? No, lovely, he's happily married with 2 young daughters. Would you? Helen Stroud, would you? Mustard? Well, there's another feature, possibly more for the ladies, and especially as he's not here. Would you do Mustard? And would you like to say something behind his back? We can have a bit of fun with that. Matthew Harrison is more Andrex and Charmin. I'm with you on that one, sir. I am an Andrex double supreme quilted velvet man, and proud of it. Oh, hello. Another vote for Angela Rippon as an OAPWAP. The Mona Lisa, which again is a bit of a non sequitur. Oh, Beards and Bangers hit 100 subs today. Well done, sir. So let's all congratulate Mr. B&B. Mr. B&B. But let's congratulate him because 100 subs is a massive thing. I remember when I got mine, it's not all that long ago, so I've only got about 112 now. But yeah, it's a change from double figures to triple figures. So congratulations, well deserved. Your vids are great. So I raise a glass to Beards and Bangers. Do check out his channel. Well worth a watch. Oh, hello, we've got some more OAPWAPs. I'll trust you lot to go with the bloody OAPWAP feature. It had some nice features, and all you want to talk about is podgering pensioners. Let's see. Richard E. Grant, I've heard of him. Is he over 60? Paul McGann, or is that McCann? McGann, Doctor Who. You needed more male OAPWAPs last time, and I remember these just after. Yeah, we did need more male OAPWAPs. Our yeah, our little our little pen of podgerable pensioners were very much female heavy. So yeah, good to have some chaps in there. And Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann are, I'm sure, splendid shouts. Do you agree? Bad Books resorted to beans on toast after his disastrous pork casserole. Beans on toast, that's one of those things that you think of it as a last resort. It's something that you tend to eat when you've kind of got no other option. But then when you eat it, you think, well, this is bloody fabulous and I should eat it more often. And then you forget. And end up not eating it again until you have another food crisis and eat it again as a last resort. Or are you different? Let's have another feature. Beans on toast. Is it a regular meal or purely a last resort with the emergency tin in the cupboard that's been there since 1976? Actually, we should do that as a proper feature. I might do it as a Boaty in the kitchen. All right, let's do this. What is your ultimate beans on toast? And I know that all of you cheesers are going to come at me with cheese, aren't you? My ultimate beans on toast would be very simple. It would be, let's think now, it would be beautiful, fresh bread, a nice loaf cut into doorsteps and toasted so that it's nice, and especially if it's cut slightly unevenly, so it's nice and sort of burnt or just in parts, with lashings of really, really good butter and piping hot Heinz baked beans with just a simple light dusting of ground white pepper. That would be my ultimate beans on toast. But what would yours be? Do you go exotic with a dash of Worcester sauce or a bit of Tabasco? Or do you heap cheese upon it or something else? Let me know and we can talk about that. Oh, hello. Gilbert T. Codwacker has bought an air fryer in Lidl's Black Friday event, and he says it's amazing, and many people do, and it's one of those things that I would like to get around to trying. In fact, I would buy one if I wasn't too poor to afford one. I would love to try one, and I would also like a sous vide, but that's even more expensive. But yeah, I mean, I love homemade chips, and I reckon I make the best homemade chips in the world. They're not triple cooked, they're quadruple cooked, because I blanch them, I fry them twice in progressively. I blanch them in salted boiling water. Well, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Ideally, I soak them, peel them. Um, Sometimes I leave the skin on. Soak them overnight with a couple of changes of water to get rid of as much of the starch as possible. Then I kind of flash parboil them in salted water, drain them obviously, and then I fry them twice. First in a relatively low heat, then in a relatively higher heat, and then I kind of steam them under their own heat in linen for about 45 seconds. And it just gives them that fantastic gloopy, squodgy quality that you used to get from chip shop chips that were cooked in beef dripping and then wrapped in paper. And they would kind of steam in on themselves. And it's that same kind of effect. But I've stopped doing it. Because it's such a faff using a chip pan, and it makes such a mess. And I haven't done it for ages because I spent ages properly cleaning the chip pan. I am obsessive about things, and I'm certainly obsessive about cleanliness. And yeah. So I cleaned the thing, and I cleaned it so perfectly I couldn't bear to bloody use it again. So I would love to. Excuse me, dear me. That I was going to say it came out of nowhere, but it didn't. It came out of about there. But look, I have burped, and I'm not proud, but neither am I ashamed. It's 11:30 at night. I've got a nice glass of wine. I'm in my own home, and I will not be made to feel guilty for only partially smothering a simple, humble, harmless burp. Cheers again. But yeah, I'd love to try an air fryer. Everybody says they're amazing, and if I ever become sufficiently less poor to buy one, I will. Now then, Tracy, the POV was filmed using the holder that I recommended. And she's put a link in the comments that you may be able to click on, or possibly not. It doesn't look very clickable from my end. Glad my recommendation for the phone holder hopefully proved to be okay. I will watch your video. Who was driving? Was it the hubby? Can we criticise him? And let's see. So it's right. It looks as if Tracy's YouTube channel is Rainbow Beach. So let's all go and have a little look at that and subscribe and show her a bit of love, shall we? How many subs have we got, Trace? Where you at? Let us know, and let's see if we can shift you up a bit. Do you make your own bubbles? Absolutely not. I would never break wind in the bath. That would be a disgraceful thing to do. Yes, I do. Oh, I've missed some. Hello, what's going on? Oh, stream is clearer now. I refreshed and it worked. Thank you for the wipe. I will wipe you anytime, my lovely. My mum used to buy imperial leather only at Christmas as it was posh. I still think imperial leather is posh. I come from a very, very humble background, and yeah, to me, a bar of imperial leather soap screams posh. So I'm totally with your mother on that one. I have a bleak bath too, no bubbles or oils or anything. Plain, clean, straight, clear water. Right, not just me then. I don't think that there is any harm in a bleak bath. Although I suppose it wouldn't be entirely bleak after you'd been in it, would you? But still, anyway. Um, Matey bubble bath is the best. Clean fun and clean bath after. Do they really still do Matey? God almighty. That was a joke back in about 1983, 84 in the Young Ones annual, which I was given for Christmas. And there was a masturbation based matey joke in it. And I can't believe, do they seriously still make it? That's hilarious. There's another feature. Really old school stuff that you think wouldn't be about anymore, but it still is, like spangles. Oh, and what about Brasso? That's still going, and that's been around forever, hasn't it? Shine your buckles with brass, so it's only 2 halfpence a tin. You can buy it or nick it from Woolworths, and it's always full up to the brim. So yeah. Oh, we're congratulating Mr. B&B on the 100. That's nice. Oh, hello. Is this somebody new? MSM Archer is asking, what do we all do for a living? What a great question. What does everybody do for a living? I suppose I should start. Well, I work with a small chain of fine dining Nepalese and fusion restaurants, and I do some digital media marketing consultancies, and I do a shitload of stuff that doesn't earn me any money at all. In fact, it costs me money. Like this, like YouTube, which costs me money, and like my singles network, which has cost me shed loads of money. So most of the work that I do, I don't actually get paid for. And the work that I do get paid for, that money tends to go to my singles charity, because times are hard, and getting people to contribute to a charity at the moment when they're probably in dire straits themselves is near impossible. So I try and get by on the bare minimum, or usually less, and I siphon off as much money as I can from my own earnings to put to my charity, because there are people there who are far worse off than me, and it breaks my heart when we've got something called the singles pot, and the idea is that whenever any of our guys are feeling a bit flush, they can chuck a quid or two in the pot, and then the pot is there to help out members as and when they need it. When they run out of gas or electricity on their prepayment meter, and it's going to be a day or two until their benefits come in, or until payday, or they've got no food in the cupboards. Or to give you a recent example, a single mum, their kid was poorly and in hospital, and naturally the mum stayed in the hospital to be with the kid and was there for days. And of course the hospital fed the child, but they had no duty or facility to feed the parent, and she didn't have money to go to the cafeteria or to the shop, so the poor cow went for a few days literally not eating. And when you get people approaching you like that, then with the best will in the world, I can't, if I've got a couple of quid spare, then obviously I'm going to shovel it in that direction, because stuff like that is heartbreaking. Anyway, so that's what I do for a living. Let's throw it out to everybody else. What do you lot do to earn your daily bread? Tracy says, surely all of us ladies would do mustard. Is that true? Is mustard a babe magnet? He's not here, so we can talk about him. Is he? Is mustard what women want? He's a fine-looking chap, and he's a big lump, and he's capable, and he's kind, and he's generous, and he's intelligent, and he's funny. So I suppose, I mean, he's a bit weird. He is a bit weird, but maybe you ladies like weird. At least it'd make you laugh. I never thought about him in that way, which will probably come as a relief to him. So, ladies, let's hear from you. Do you all feel the same way about Mustard? Is Mustard the sexy one of the pair of us in the Mustard and Boaty duo? Oh God! Oh no! So, if watching our videos, if watching the doings of Mustard and Boaty videos were the equivalent of meeting in a nightclub, I'd be the one that you'd look at your mate and go, "Don't fancy yours much." Bloody hell! Gilbert T. Codwacker says, have Mustard and Barry Gibb ever been seen in the same room? Good question. Beards and Bangers says the 190 is driving well. Well, it bloody should be. You've well and truly fettled that, haven't you, sir? The 260 is still very broken, but getting there. It is a bit of a work in progress, the 260, but yeah, no doubt you'll get that. And you've got the BRM to play with. How cool is that BRM? The BRM has probably got the coolest interior of any car that I've ever seen, with the possible exception of a Series 5 Johnston Interceptor, which most of you will never have even heard of, let alone ever seen. There were very, very few of them made. I'm not sure how many were made. I'm not sure how many than one were made. I know for a fact that the one that was made, I personally sold to a sheikh in the United Arab Emirates. How many more than that one there ever were, I don't know. But the Mark V was minus the big rear hatch goldfish bowl. It was shaped more like a Scimitar SS1, but it had this amazing interior. Or other really good interiors, Lamborghini Espada Series 3. I had one of those. And amazing interior, particularly the back seats. Anyway, Mr. B&B, no one is sleeping in me. You have my sympathy. Nobody slept in me for a couple of weeks either. Let's apply for Mustard to be Father Christmas in a department store on his behalf. Really? Really? Well, I suppose it could be a worse choice, but no. Let's have Mustard as our Father Christmas. It certainly sounds as if all the ladies wouldn't mind sitting on his knee. MSM Archer had tomato soup and mashed potato for dinner. That's an unusual combination, I think, isn't it? Hey, hope you enjoyed it. Is that something anybody else has ever tried? Tomato soup and mashed potato? Let me know. I've had my first ever air fryer chips, says Gilbert. How were they? Beans on crumpets is better than beans on toast. Well, no. And has to be Branson beans with shaky pepper. No. But ultimate beans on toast. Fresh, white, doorstep bread. Yes, agreed. Lightly toasted. Real butter. Yeah. Tiny bit of Marmite. You're losing me a bit. HP beans with sausages. No, just no. Those sausages are... And if I'm feeling fancy, just a sprinkle of cheddar as a garnish. You should be locked up. But there we are. Not all bad, not all bad. My air fryer was 40 quid. That's great, but that's 40 quid more than I've got at the moment. I've got about, I'm just having a look. I've got about £3.90 in the world, so ain't no air fryer coming my way anytime soon. In Dudley, they batter chips. They do indeed. I've got many friends from the Black Country, and I spend quite a bit of time there myself. I think Mustard should become a lollipop man. I think he's got loftier ambitions than that. Oh, Tracy only has 6 subs on her channel. So, come on, we can't have that. We can't have that, guys. One of ours, our Tracy, she's here with us every Monday and every Thursday. She's only got 6 subscribers. Let's get her up to a minimum of 20 by when? Well, you're watching this, so you might not want to go off. No, I tell you what, let's go to a minimum of 30 by next Monday. Yeah, next live stream is on Monday. Minimum of 30 subscribers for Tracy. 50 would be even better. And her YouTube channel is, he said, looking back to have a look at it, Rainbow Beach. So get yourself subscribed to Rainbow Beach, and let's get her up to 50. And then if her videos are really crap, you can always unsubscribe later on. Don't tell her I said that, and don't tell her when you've unsubscribed. What did we get to? Yes, they still make matey. I love that. What a shame they don't still do spangles. Rob Lowe is an IT manager. That's replying to our new friend who was asking what everybody does for a living. Gilbert is a carer, and he looks after his 89-year-old great uncle, which is a fabulous thing to do. A massive shout out to all carers, whether it's professional, whether it's family, whether it's paid, whether it's unpaid. It is the hardest and the most important job in the world, and I know because I've done it. On and off throughout my adult life, either voluntarily or my mother ran a care home, and it's a subject very close to my heart. And as was mentioned in, which video was it of mine and Mustard's? I think it was, if you haven't watched this video, check it out. Mustard and Boaty's top 10 fuel saving tips. After about the 4th tip, it gets hilarious. And I think that's the video where I spoke at some length about my prowess as a professional arse wiper. And I'm a great arse wiper. It is one of my greatest talents. It is like, it's like a royal service. You haven't lived until I've wiped your ass. Although I've kind of retired now and it's pretty much only my own. But if you want to pay me a huge amount of money, I will come out of retirement and I will resume my professional arse wiping duties. Tracy Greenwood, what do I do for a living? I fart about on the internet. Well, I presume by that you mean that you e-commerce. That's how we know each other, isn't it? We're eBay peeps, aren't we? I get so confused with where I know people from these days, but I'm pretty sure that our Tracy is one of my chums from way back when, in the very early, well, at the beginning of this century, when we were on the Power Washers board, yeah? And that's how come we know Astro and Fudgy and all that lot. What in the name of Merc does Mustard do? Well, he gets by. LLM, ladies love Mustard. Mustard and Boaty, the odd couple. Yeah, we are a bloody odd couple. There's no way about it, is it? But we do love each other's company. He sent me a very nice message this morning, to which I responded in kind. And I always look forward to Monday and our together filming fun days. And I can't wait until we get to do a drunken live together. That will be epic. Beers and bangers. BRM smells proper inside. What? Petrol and a smidge of fart? You can't say that. And you don't tell me that you've farted in that fantastic. If there's ever an interior that you should not fart in, it's that stunning BRM interior with red quilted pleated leather. It's like something from a 1970s porn film. Every time I see that car on your video, I've got the theme tune from Debbie Does Dallas going in my head. And don't you think about using it, because that's my theme tune on my channel. Get your own 70s porn music. Let's see. My mate's 1958 Humber Super Sniper is amazing. James Alroyd, welcome. He has finally made it to a live stream. Good evening, sir. You've got a lot of features to catch up on. But welcome. Glad you're here. Did any of my singles lot turn up? Helen was here. My cousin Helen. Any other singles people? Any of you out there? Beans on toast with eggs on the top. Now that could be the what did you have for dinner feature, or the what is your ultimate beans on toast feature. Either way, we'll take it. Lamborghini Espada. Wow, Harry's Garage has one on his channel, just had engine rebuilt. I think, I'm not sure if I've seen Harry's Garage, but I think I might have, because I was searching for videos on the Lamborghini, Christ almighty, I've forgotten the name. What was the Lambo that came after the Countach? Originally two-wheel drive, became four-wheel drive. Can't remember what it's called, but I was looking for YouTube videos on one because I've taken a particular interest in them of late for reasons that may one day, hopefully soon, become apparent. And I think his was one of the channels I came across, and I got some quite useful information from it. But yeah, I had a Series 3 Espada in I can't remember what Lamborghini called their yellow, but it was in yellow with the black interior. And the Espada is a four-seater V12 Lamborghini. At the time that it was current, it was the world's fastest four-seater production car, and it's an extraordinary thing to behold in the flesh, because when you stand next to it, it is just so low. It's lower than your belt buckle, and it's well up there on the list of cars that I wish I still owned. Have you ever had fresh black pudding from Berry Market? No, I would never eat black pudding. I mean, it's just wrong. Oh, a message held for review. Why was that held for review? There's nothing wrong with that. Tracy would love 30 subs by Monday, as it would be just after her birthday. So there you are. Tracy, for her birthday, would like you to subscribe to her channel, Rainbow Beach. So let's all do that. I'm not sure if I'm subscribed, but if I'm not, I will be very soon, immediately after this podcast, or after supper, or in the morning, but before your birthday anyway. I drive a streetwise. I'm not sure if I want to get up to 50. Rob Lowe is asking what Tracy's channel is called. It's Rainbow Beach. Matthew Harrison does a bit of this and a bit of that. Basically, I'm a professional ... Well, I think we all know what that means. He is a gigolo and a male stripper. Oh, there are lots of Rainbow Beach on YouTube, apparently. I don't know, we'll sort something out. Oh, somebody else can't find Tracy's channel. Please clarify. Um, oh, Tracy. Yes, we met on eBay Power Seller Board, and now it's a reconnection on YouTube and via Astro Steve. Yeah, I thought so. Trace, we need a way to get these folks to your channel. I'm not sure that your original link was clickable, but shove the link up again. And guys, if you can't click on it, copy and paste it. And it's amazing that you're all going there to give her some love and give her a sub. Thank you so much. I'm sure it'll mean the bloody world to her. I mean, oh, 6 subs. Any of us who've got a YouTube channel have been there. I was there for a bloody long time. It took me ages to get to 10, and then even longer to get to 50, and getting to 100 was like pulling teeth. So it's a fabulous thing to do. I love that we all support each other a bit. And don't forget Beards and Bangers. He's got his 100, so now he's marching on to... oh, Mr. B&B, I've got a question for you, right? You put a post up on YouTube community yesterday or the day before. You've only just got 100 subs. How come you get to use community? I didn't get to use it until I got 500. So how come you're getting special dispensation? Who have you been sleeping with? So yeah, that confuddled me, because I saw your post and I thought, bloody hell, he's got 500 subs already. He's doing well. And so I went to look, and that's when I saw that you were on 99. But you were allowed to use community, and I thought you had to have 500. Certainly I wasn't allowed to until I had 500, but there we are. Mustard the Muff Magnet. This has come as quite a surprise to me. I genuinely didn't realise that Mustard was a pin-up. I didn't realise that he was a muff magnet. But there we are. I will never look at him in the same way again. Should I use pictures of him on my dating profile, or put links to our videos, but say that I'm actually the good-looking one, not the old fat one? Although he is actually older than me, believe it or not. Oh, is it? Oh, yes. It's just about time when I have a little break and top up my wine. So chat amongst yourselves, guys. Have a look at Tracy's channel. Have a look at the comments. She might have told you how to find it. And I will be back in 30 seconds. Don't you touch that knob. You stay where you are. Mustard the Muff Magnet. That's better. And I am back. Let's rattle through some comments and catch up, shall we? Right, we've dealt with Mustard being the muff magnet. The streetwise is not your disability. Please put Tracy's link up, because Rainbow Beach comes up as holiday stuff. Hopefully she already has. We'll see when I work through the comments. I think you should do a drunk stream with Mustard in that odd time between Christmas and the New Year. That's a good chat. Talking about Christmas, I don't know if any of my singles lot are watching, but now on Christmas Day, and I don't know if any of you, my YouTube lot, I don't know if any of you lot are single and alone, but obviously there are going to be people that are. Now on Christmas Day, the restaurant is open and we are fully booked. In fact, we're overbooked. We've had to extend the opening hours. But we will be closing early evening at some point and I will be home. And I'm planning to do an extended live stream on Christmas Day, purely for those guys that are going to be, guys and gals, that are going to be on their own. I'm going to be on my own on Christmas night, but that's absolutely fine. Well, unless my dating app experience goes really well, and I get myself all loved up before Christmas. But you know, I'm old and exceedingly unattractive, so that's not terribly likely, is it? Oh, and if you're interested, you lot who watch my videos regularly, you'll have heard about Bernard. And Bernard, when Facebook, what do they call it? Facebook public with a new relationship, the last night or the night before, which has rather prompted me to up my game and think, right, well, enough arsing about with half-assed efforts. It's I've been single for just over a year, well, mostly single, for just over well, no, we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, it's Chinese madam and I split up last September, so it's been just over a year now. Yeah, time I stuck my toe back in the pool. But anyway, Christmas Day. Yeah, I'll be on my own on Christmas night, which is absolutely fine because all of Christmas Day I'll have been around hundreds of people and my friends and my family. I call them my family because I don't have any family, apart from you, Helen. My Nepali family, I adopted them, they adopted me, and I love them and they love me, and it's all lovely. So, you know, I'll have company all day. So it doesn't bother me in the least that I'll be on my own at night. But some people will undoubtedly have been on their own all day. So I'm going to do like a massively extended live stream, probably from the time that I get home right through until I go to bed, just so that in case there's a few people out there who literally won't see or hear another soul on Christmas Day, and that just seems awful to me. So yeah, I'll do an extended live stream, and hopefully even those of you who aren't alone can pop in for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, and pull a cracker or something. But that's rolling ahead. We've got plenty of time until then, haven't we? I'm literally Rainbow Beach, so you guys saying you can't find me is making me think I need to change it. Thank you for looking. Mustard has rubbed off on JM. Jay has bought an MG ZS. Well, I can't tell you. Yeah, there's something there and I can't tell you about it, but you will find out very soon. Harry's Garage and Terrell's Workshop, Lamborghini Mastertech, worth a watch. I'll check those out. Oh, right. Other half at the Greenwood will get you to my channel. Lego head again, don't really understand that. Somebody missed the at off the beginning. Rainbow Beach is all holiday related stuff, can't see you. When is your merchandise coming out? Good question. Okay, oh, we should talk about that. Obviously, on Monday, I hit my 4,000 watch hours, which is one of the 2 main parameters required to join the YouTube Partner Program and become monetized. The other is to hit 1,000 subscribers, which hopefully I will get to before too long. And as a suggestion from a suggestion from one of you kind people, although I had been thinking about it, I finally got about to rebranding because, I was £500 cheap car challenge. So that's what it started out as, and it kind of didn't stay as that long. It's me doing all sorts of nonsense. It's me doing stuff with mustard. It's me cooking. It's me eating. It's me waffling into a bloody live stream. It's me driving. So I've done the complete rebrand, and everything is now Boaty's World. And that wasn't my idea before you accused me of being all arrogant and megalomaniac. It was one of you guys, a kind suggestion, and I've gone with it. And I should have done it beforehand because the channel makes much more sense now. And certainly in my singles group, somebody watched Monday night's live stream and said, oh, it wasn't all about cars. I thought it would be all about cars, but there were loads of really interesting stuff on there. And the name's going to be put in the light. In fact, the name is a double whammy that shot me in the foot, the channel name. Because people expecting to tune into a purely motoring channel are going to be disappointed because there's food and me on the bog and all sorts of random weird stuff. So they're going to be alienated and pissed off. But then there's a lot of people who won't even look because they think it's going to be all about cars. And of course it isn't. It's all about crap and nonsense. So I should have done it beforehand. I've done it now. It's now Boaty's World. And thank you to everybody who suggested changing the name. And thank you to the person who suggested that as a name. I did do a name change before to something similar, World of Boaty, and then I quickly changed it back. Anyway, it is what it is now, and that will work much better going forward. Oh, but we were talking about merch coming out. So, when I hit the 1,000, apart from qualifying for the advertising revenue, it opens up another couple of possibilities. One of which is channel membership. And the idea behind that, if you don't know, is that you guys can effectively, well, sorry if this sounds harsh, but pay, let's be frank. You can pay a nominal monthly sum for a tier of channel membership, and it means that you support the channel and you get something back for it. And you can have multiple tiers at different price levels. And the idea is that the higher the tier, the more you guys get back. And I don't know what to give you. So Hubnut has got one level of channel membership. And it's like, I think it's like 99p or £1.99 or something per month. And it means that you get exclusive access to a live stream 4 times a year. And I think you get a sticker by your name or something like that. I don't know. Joseph Lloyd has got different tiers. And he offers different incentives. I feel very, very awkward about the whole thing. I don't want to ask you for money in exchange for something. But on the other hand, some money would come in jolly handy. So I don't know. What do you think? My idea for channel membership is just to have a basic, like, do you want to support me a little bit? I'd be really grateful. 99p a month or something like that, and you get a little label by your name whenever you're commenting or whatever that says that you're a supporter. I don't know. I've looked into this, and the stuff that I would like to do, if you guys were willing to support me, I'd like to do something real. I don't want to give you some dodgy bit of merchandise or access to a video a week sooner than everybody else or anything like that. I'd like to cook you lunch. I'd like to cook you lunch or make you a cup of coffee or give you some Momo. But I'm not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to have, for the channel membership, you're not allowed to have in-person meetings as an incentive. But that's exactly what I'd want to do. You know, if somebody said, I'd love to chuck you a couple of quid a month, Boaty, to help keep the cars on the road, and you know, chuck some money in towards petrol to go and do some stuff with Mustard or whatever, then I'd like to say, brilliant, thank you, come for lunch. I'd love you all to come for lunch. I'm trying to organise a meet-up, you know I am, you know I've got the venue sorted, and I'd like to cook for all of you. So that's the kind of thing I'd like to do for the channel membership. I'd like to give you something real. But it says that I'm not allowed to, but I'm sure we can come up with a way to work around that. And that's not answering the question, which was about merch. I also hate the idea of doing merch. As I've said before, it's the same fulfillment drop shippers that everybody uses, and you end up paying through the nose for a bloody t-shirt that's massively overpriced because it's got a channel logo or something on it, and that doesn't sit entirely well with me. But if I do it, it'll be in an ironic sense. Somebody came up with a brilliant idea on Monday, I think it was, where the merchandise should have as the logo, Mr. Boaty doesn't do merch. And I like the idea of that because that is ironic. Oh yeah, but that's another thing that you can do when you hit the 1,000 subscriber and 4,000 watch hour level. You can open a partner shop and you can flog your merch. So I don't know, would any of you want any merch? And if you would, what would you like? Tell me and I'll do it. I'll make it happen. I'll make it as cheap as possible. You know, I'd love it if people wanted to have a sticker or something with the channel on it, but God only knows if they would. If you would, tell me and I'll definitely do something. But left to my own devices, I would invite you for lunch and I would cook for you, or I'd invite you for a glass of wine on a summer's evening, and I'd give you nibbles, and I would just enjoy shaking your hand, or perhaps giving you a hug and having a glass of wine with you. But if you would like some merch, not a problem, we can make that happen. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the other thing that you can do is super chat and super stickers, which again doesn't sit well with me, but I think the idea is that you, I mean, let's face it, all of these things, they're just euphemisms for a YouTube channel getting you to give them money. And Mustard and I talked about that because Mustard feels the same way that I do. It doesn't sit well with him. I mean, we both want to become less poor. And, you know, that's what we're doing, this to become less poor. I'm also doing it to hopefully raise money for my singles charity. And we haven't got a problem with taking the ad revenue. Obviously, Mustard already takes his, and I will very happily take mine because that's not coming out of somebody's pocket. But it doesn't sit well with either of us, the idea of, in any way, shape or form, whether it's through merch or whether it's through super chat or super stickers or channel membership, it doesn't sit well with the idea of saying, look, you know, give us some money. There's a good chap, or there's a nice lady, and it doesn't sit well. And our idea was that if you're going to do it, be blatant about it, be honest, be upfront. So instead of saying, buy my wonderful merch, it's amazing, and you can walk around with a t-shirt saying, I watched a video with a Citroen 2CV or something like that. We were planning just to rock up to the car shows next year. Possibly with a caravan and the Momo station. And it wouldn't be completely one-sided. I will feed you Momo next year. And yeah, I'm going to do the car shows next year. I'm taking the Momo station. I will feed you Momo. Every one of you. Not a problem. But yeah, so we were going to have the Make Mustard and Boaty Less Poor bucket. And it's just going to be a bucket with make Mustard and Boaty less poor on it. And so whenever anybody asks, have you got any merch I can buy? We were just going to say, no, just throw some money in that bucket, which seemed a lot more honest and above board to us than trying to pretend that, you know, a £1.39 t-shirt that happened to have your channel logo on it was suddenly magically worth $16.99. But we'll see what happens. You know, I'm freezing my tits off at the moment because I can't afford to heat this place properly. So maybe when the opportunity arises and I hit the 100 subs, maybe I will take the corporate shilling, and maybe I will take every opportunity to fleece you all for your last penny. But I hope I don't, because I hope I'm not that person. Like I say, I'd love to cook you lunch. The rest of it, we'll sort something out. Unless you would really like merch, in which case, yeah, we will do that. Anyway, I've waffled on about that for ages. Back to the comments. Found it, subbed, brilliant. That's great. People are finding Tracy and subbing to her. That's great. And if you haven't done Beers and Bangers, do them as well. And what's our other one of us, which is a new channel coming up, is Project MGTF, the lovely Simon. So yeah, let's do it together. And if any of you guys have got a channel, shout it and I'll do exactly the same thing. The Boaty doesn't do merch. Merchandise is coming soon. Sounds like it might be. Thank you, people, for finding me now. Search at the Greenwood. Looks offer the Lego person. That doesn't make sense. Oh, right. I think Tracy is saying that at the Greenwood is her channel, and her logo is, it's a Lego logo. It's a logo of a Lego lady. Try saying that when you're pissed. And Tracy has followed Beards and Bangers. Brilliant. Thanks, Trace. Bad Books has found it too. Oh, Beards and Bangers. No idea about community. It just opened up. Maybe watch hours rather than subs. No, it told me it was a 500 subs thing. And if you go on to, well, certainly when I checked, because I've been wanting to do community, it said that it was a 500 subscriber thing, and that you might have to wait a week or two after getting your 500 sub before you were allowed access. And that's exactly what happened with me. I got my 500 subs, kept checking, and there was no community tab available to me. And then about 10 days after number 500 came, I got an email saying, you now have access to community. So I don't know how you blagged that. You're obviously in favour with the, excuse me, YouTube gods. Oh, and Beards and Bangers are sub to Tracy. Brilliant. Sorry, I should stop hugging chat. Please ignore Boaty. Right, okay. Don't please ignore me. I'm sitting here waffling to you with the best of intent. Don't ignore me. I'll get all sad. Oh, right, hang on. I mean, please ignore me farting about in chat with my link now, Boaty. Right, so don't ignore me, ignore Tracy. I think at Christmas you should do an alternative King's Christmas address. I've been thinking about stuff to do at Christmas. I have been thinking about stuff to do. And I've got an idea for a couple of people who mentioned a Christmas single. And I've got, if I can get the karaoke backing, I've got an idea for a song for me and Mustard to do, to put out at around Christmas time as a bit of fun. And if we can do it, it's going to be bloody funny. Mustard doesn't know about this yet, by the way, so maybe don't tell him, he might leave the country, especially when I tell him what the song is. To earn money and sell merch, it's clear you should sell Mustard calendars. Yeah, apparently. Apparently it is. Yeah. If I want to get the female vote, I need to get mustard naked on a calendar. Jimmy Quinn says the Woody Show. Tracy guest hosts the Woody Show. Woody is Steve Woodmore, our mutual friend, the world's fastest talker, and I have also guest hosted that. And I'm hoping to get Steve on as guest host here at some point. You would enjoy Steve. He's a he's a good chap. Christmas Day live stream. I'll be watching once I get home and then catch up with the rest on Boxing Day when I'm sinking my Christmas wine stash. Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a live stream Christmas night. I'm determined to do it because I hate the idea of people spending the whole day completely and utterly alone. I mean, I'd invite them round here. I'd happily throw my doors open to anybody who was going to be alone on Christmas night. But obviously, I'm a bit remote and it's a bit difficult for people to get here. King's speech will be weird. Yeah, it will after however many years it was of the Queen's speech. But I think Charles will do an excellent job. Boaty's World, yeah, absolutely. Will the King's speech be as bad as all other sequels? Oh, still would love to know how you got to be Boaty. I'll do that. Challenge to Boaty. Get a framed picture of mustard on King Charles's desk while he does the Christmas Day speech. Fucking hell, how much influence do you think I've got? I could probably Photoshop it and put it in a video. There you go. There you go. That will be my challenge, to release a video of a bit of the King's speech with mustard on his desk. Okay, I'll have a go at that. Just sell Boaty brand French letters. Oh God. And kebab flake. Oh, let's not go there. Here's one for you, Boaty. Oh, Lou95. Hello. Why do people class the outside lane as the one closest to the central reservation? Surely, if a central reservation is in the middle, then the outside lane would be lane 1. That's interesting. That's interesting. I need to think about that. Christ, let's think. Outside lane. I suppose. I wonder if it originated in right-hand drive countries, where the opposite would be true. That would be my best guess. Of course, the outside lane is the outside of the, if you're driving on the left. That's an interesting point. And it's kind of right, and it kind of, I bet it originated in, I bet the phrase originated in a right-hand drive country. Do I mean right-hand drive? No, I don't do it. Driving on the right, yeah, well, driving on the right country. That's an interesting one. I might come back to that. You could do stickers and key rings. I could. Would anybody want one? Myself and Steve Senior Mustard have sampled Boaty's Momo. Very good. And I hope many more of you will sample my Momo. I intend to travel the width and breadth and height of the car shows with my portable Momo station. Have Momos, will travel. Boaty recipe book. That's actually not a bad show. In fact, I've been asked to do a new YouTube channel. My head chef, and he might be watching this. Hey Ram. My head chef, very, very talented chef. He asked me tonight if I would be interested in going into partnership and filming and organising a YouTube channel for him, because he's he's an award-winning chef across multiple cuisines, European, Pan-Asian, more than one form of Chinese cooking, and Chinese chefs are split into um, oh, 3, maybe as much as 7 different, what do they call them, cantons? Different cooking styles anyway. And he's trained and experienced in several of them. So, um, so I thought that's something that I might look at because I would enjoy doing that. And I do plan to do, and certainly now that I've rebranded, it gives me carte blanche to do a lot more kitchen stuff myself. And I'm not a chef, I'm not trained, I'm not even a particularly good home cook. But I do try, and yeah, I would like to do more stuff to encourage people who are utterly hopeless, as I was, and in many ways still am. So yeah, I'd like to do some stuff going at that. And I'd like to look at cheats as well, or semi-cheats. I think I mentioned this before when we were talking about Delia, but I'm a fan of semi-cheating where possible. So anyway, we'll talk about that another time. I love all your make us less poor ideas. Yeah, well, none of them are working yet, but they're good fun. Some YouTube channels take the piss. Honestly, I feel exactly the same way. I really do, and that's why I'm so not wanting to fall into that trap. I want to make some extra money from doing this, of course I do. At the very least, I would like it to be not a loss-making exercise, because at the moment, doing this kind of costs money. Every time I go and see Mustard, it's 40 quid in fuel, or when Mustard comes here, and it's, keeping the cars on the road and go. So I'd like it to at least be revenue neutral, but I totally don't want to take the piss. I keep going on about, I love the community aspect, I love the company, I love the fact that all of you guys, I think of you as friends, you're part of my daily life. And I don't particularly want to just fleece you, even if it is just 99p a month. I'd like it to be more of a mutual roundabout thing. I'd love you to come for lunch, and if you chucked a couple of bob in the bucket to help me pay for the Momo, great. We can do all of that at the car shows next year, and meetups, because I desperately want to organise meetups to turn this into some real life thing. To be honest, I'm struggling at the moment because funds are so tight, and I'm a bit worried about hiring the venue and buying food and stuff, and nobody turns up. So if anybody can think of a way around that, I would love to do it. I'd love to do it before Christmas. I'd love for us to meet up on a Sunday in the village hall, which I can get for next to nothing, and we can have drinks and a bit of something to eat, even if it's just snacks, even if it's just sausage and bacon sandwiches or something, or Momo or something. It doesn't have to be a full sit-down lunch, but we can have a drink and something to eat and just a bloody good mingle and all meet each other. I'd love that. Where did I get to? Shazam had an idea. Contact wineries and suggest that you review their wine on YouTube. You will get more subs and free wine. That's a great idea, but they're going to want to do that with a thumping great big channel, and I am definitely not a thumping great big channel. I do not get big numbers, and I very much doubt that anybody would be willing to give me anything at the moment, because I'm just not big enough. I'm still tiny. I mean, I'm growing, but I am still teeny tiny. But it's a great idea for times to come. Seconded subbing Project MGTF. Yeah, let's not forget about him. T-shirt idea. World's greatest ass wiper. I like. I love that. Yeah. I follow the world's greatest arse wiper, something like that. Now that is something that I could do because at least it's funny and it's ironic. It's not just asking somebody to pay over the odds for something with Boaty's world on it. That's amusing and hopefully it would make other people smile as well. That's the sort of thing that I'd be all right with. So keep those ideas coming. Oh, good evening, English like humans. Stephen S. Paul, our American friend, is in the house. Hope all is well in your kingdom. We're bloody cold, mate. How's things with you? Has anyone seen Mustard's Classic Guitars channel from 2010? He's very good. I haven't actually seen that. I looked at his Garden Spoon channel, but I haven't looked at his guitar channel. And apparently that did okay. It was monetized and everything. So I should look at that. Maybe you should bring it back. Mustard and Boaty sing the Christmas blues. The song I've got in mind is anything but Christmas blues. Shall I tell you what? No, I won't tell you what it is, just in case it doesn't happen. I think you should do your Christmas Day address in Welsh. That's kind of working to a very small audience. How many of you lot speak Welsh? I mean, there's KO, and that's about it, I would imagine. And I've forgotten all of my Welsh anyway. I've covered this before. Yeah, I come from a Welsh-speaking village and a Welsh-speaking family. We moved over the bridge when I was very young. I've forgotten virtually all of my Welsh. I was mostly brought up speaking in English. My grandparents spoke Welsh to me, but my parents always spoke, well, my mum couldn't speak Welsh, and Dad always spoke English, so I haven't got Welsh inculcated. In theory, it's my first language. In practice, not so much. Boaty's Momo, Pride of Longbridge. My Momo are going to get everywhere next year, mate. Don't forget to hit the like button on this feed, everyone. Thank you. Yes, if you could, that would be much appreciated. If I came for sausage sarnies, please no cinnamon ones. They were fucking expensive. You think I'm buying those for you lot? Oh no, you'll be getting the Sainsbury's ones, mate. Own brand. Cinnamon indeed. Re-meet. We can all chip in and take the financial worry away. That's absolutely grand. I mean, if you guys are okay with kind of committing to it in advance, and you know, paying the deposit or whatever, so I can book the venue and pay for that, and buy whatever food we're going to have, then great. Yeah, I'll organise it. Any Sunday you care to name, pretty much. Let's choose a date. The village hall is nearly always free, and I think it's permanently free on a Sunday lunchtime. Who would be interested in coming? I think you all know where I am. Where am I? Well, if you want to Google Wadshelf Village Hall, and that will tell you exactly where I am. It's on the outskirts of Chesterfield, just on the edge of the Peak District National Park. Dead easy to find because it's like 100 yards off a mainish road. As you'll know, you've seen the videos, you've probably seen the hall. But if you'd be interested in coming, yeah, let's talk about a prospective date. We can do it on Facebook community, on YouTube community, and in the Facebook group. And let's try and firm something up. And I'd love to do it before Christmas. I'd love to meet as many of you as possible before Christmas. So let's do that. Why are you called Boaty? I'm going to do that. Oh, GUU is here. Bit late, just finished work. Oh, Classic Wheels Wales is here. Hi, Mike. Hope you're well too. Richmond sausage. I wouldn't inflict that on you. We can do a bit better than that. And Chef Daniel is with us and says, good evening from the edge of a Scottish loch. Right, I'm going to do why I'm called Boaty. I'm just going for a quick top up and a half a puff. I've caught up with comments, so we'll finish tonight with why I'm called Boaty. Tracy might actually know. Back in a second. Okay. Why am I called Boaty? You're right, Tracy. You are right. But I'll tell the whole story, and then we will call it a night because I've got a fabulous curry, my loves. Okay, we need to go back to the year whatever it was. The year 2000, I think. I was 29 years old, and throughout my 20s, I worked my arse off. Initially in a chain of 4 pub restaurants that I managed, then in the car dealership that I managed, and eventually, there's a different story there. But the car dealership was the main thing, and then in my later 20s, by that time I'd been singing, I'd been successful, I'd started the promotions company, I was doing a lot of corporate work, and I think that before I was 30, I'd bought the entertainment agency that we used to do work for, very big entertainment agency, and the guy who owned it was thinking about emigrating to the States, and I kind of pushed him over the edge by making him an offer he couldn't refuse. So, bear in mind, in my late 20s, I'm kind of doing 3 full-time jobs. I'm running the car showrooms, I'm running an entertainment agency, albeit with a partner, and I'm running a promotions company, albeit with a partner. Plus, I'm still working as a professional vocalist and part of a cabaret evening, and I'm doing a lot of corporate work, and I'm doing weddings. So, I'm working every minute that God sends. And throughout my 20s, I literally worked for 9 days without a single day off. That's including working Christmas Day, New Year's Day. I literally did 9 years of working minimum 12 hours, normally 16 hours or more per day, with not a single day off. Because I used to open the car showrooms on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And I decided that my 30s were going to be a little bit different. And they certainly turned out to be. That's when I had most of my adventures in my 30s. But to go back, I'm 29. Now, I also need to explain that I did all of my own legal work. I did 3 years of studying law. I was originally supposed to become a barrister. I was originally supposed to become a professional athlete, but as you know, I got injured. My secondary thing and what I was supposed to be doing after my athletic career was I was supposed to be a barrister. I had my heart set on becoming a QC, or that would now be, of course, a KC. So it didn't happen for various reasons, but I did a lot of the legwork, and I was rather good at the law, and I'm an exceptionally good advocate. I'm very good in person in court, if I do say so myself. And with all of my businesses, I did all of my own legal work because, as I quickly found out, most solicitors, and I'm sure most probably isn't fair. In my experience, some solicitors are frankly inept. And again, in my experience, some barristers are not great. And I quickly discovered that I was kind of better. So I did all my own legal work, including all of my own advocacy. And because of my specific business model, I did spend quite a lot of time in court. I'll explain that another day. Not because I've done anything bad, but because I had a very particular business model, which meant that there was often in the event of a car breaking down, there was question about where liability lay, because I operated a brokerage model. Um, so, and yeah, and if you sell cars, um, even classic cars, or perhaps especially classic cars, because again, at that time, a lot of people were first-time classic buyers, and they didn't understand how to drive a classic car, and they tried to drive them like a modern car, and they broke them. And having broken them by being unsympathetic towards them, they want to throw them back at us and get the bloody money back, or get them repaired or whatnot. And it didn't always work like that. So anyway, I did all my own legal work. And I was very early into the internet. I set up the world's first online auction site in 1995, 8 months before the site that went on to become eBay. It wasn't called eBay originally. It was called something else, and I can't remember what, but I think they launched in November, and I think I launched Internet Motor World, or we launched, I didn't do it entirely on my own, myself and Richard. We launched in February. So I was very big into the internet, and so going back to when I was 29, I was doing some legal research for a particular case on the internet, and I ended up on some American law forum. Not sure how, because obviously American law is not British law, and vice versa. But hey ho, I did anyway, or maybe it was an international law forum or whatever it was. And there was a very beautiful American law firm owner on there. In fact, she owned two. And she really was very beautiful indeed. And back then, I had an eye for the ladies. I mean, and which I still do now. But unlike now, I was reasonably decent looking back in the day. I know that's difficult to believe now, but trust me, I was. And I got chatting, and we got chatting outside of the forum, and so on and so on and so on. And we got on really well, and we chatted for a couple of days. And we were chatting one night, and she said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I said, "Oh, it's my birthday tomorrow. It's my 30th birthday tomorrow." And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, nothing. I'll go to work." And she said, "Why don't you come over? I'll buy you lunch." And I kind of laughed, and then I thought, well, I could do that. I can afford to do this sort of thing. And it came as a shock, because I come from poverty. Going abroad isn't for the likes of me. Going to France isn't for the likes of me, let alone jetting off to America for a lunch. So, long story short, I thought, sod it, I'll do it. So I flew out to Chicago to meet this beautiful blonde millionaire law firm lady. And she picked me up from O'Hare Airport in a brand new convertible something or other. And this was in January, and the roof was down and the sun was shining, even though there was snow on the ground, because January in Chicago is bloody cold, let me tell you. And she was playing her favourite CD, and I quite liked it. And it came on like automatically because she was listening to it when she drove to the airport. And of course, when it came on, she turned it off because, of course, we're talking. We've just met. I've just got off a plane and we're going out to lunch. But we ended up listening to a bit of this, the one song, because I liked the sound of the song. And she said it was her favourite, you know, when it came on and she turned it off, and she said it was her favourite song and blah, blah, blah. And I said, can I listen to it? And it was by a guy called Jimmy Buffett. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Maybe I'm not, but I might. It's a possibility. Oh, come on. There we go, let's get that out of the way. And the song was called Boat Drinks, and I loved that song, and it's still my favourite song in the world. And it's obviously memorable, because the first time I heard it, there's me, this kid from, originally from South Wales and latterly from a council estate in Redditch. And I've just been picked up from Chicago airport, and I'm going out to lunch with a beautiful blonde millionaire in a brand new convertible car. So you can understand that I'd remember the song. So anyway, we went for lunch, and it all went very well. And we kind of stayed out for the evening, and then I went back to her place, and I kind of didn't go home and just moved in with her effectively. Didn't plan to. It could have just been, well, anyway, that's what happened. And we had a thing, yeah, I lived in Chicago for a while and sort of commuted back and forth, yeah, it was all jolly good fun. Anyway, scrolling forward, later in 2001, eBay.co.uk was just getting going. Initially, in the UK, you had to use ebay.com, the American eBay site, and then .co.uk launched. And I launched a business on it. And with eBay, it's probably still the same now. Tracy will know this. You have an eBay username, and I chose the name Boat Drinks because it was my favourite song. And in those days, in the very early days of .co.uk, you had quite an exclusive power seller program for the more successful eBay-based businesses, of which I was one. And we had our own forum, and it was a very, very good forum. And this was before Facebook and stuff like that. And it was a really good thing. It was really well populated, and it was where I first met a lot of the people that are still my friends today. But on the forum, nobody knew what your real name was. They only knew you by your eBay username. So we kind of referred to each other by bastardizations or abbreviations of our eBay username. So Boat Drinks became Boaty, and people just started calling me Boaty. And that went on and on and on and on. And then by the time Facebook came along, and I think I joined Facebook in 2008, possibly 2007, but I think 2008. And we all kind of moved onto Facebook as well as the eBay boards, and we kind of discovered what each other's real names were. We just got into the habit of calling each other by by our actual names. And all of my original Facebook friends were my eBay friends. So everybody on Facebook called me Boaty. So when my real life friends or friends from other areas of my life joined Facebook and saw everybody calling me Boaty rather than Jason, they started calling me Boaty. And that was it. I've just been Boaty ever since. So that was a very long answer to what should have been a very simple question. But there you go. That's why I'm Boaty, and I'm Boaty to pretty much everybody. I rather like it. It takes me back to that first little adventure in America. I had many more. That was like your starter for 10. If you want to know what happened with that relationship, it was really cool. Like I say, she was a millionaire. She lived on North Lakeshore Drive, which is a very wealthy part of Chicago, literally on the lakeshore in this amazing penthouse apartment with all sorts of stuff. You didn't park your car. You handed your car over to a flunky who parked it for you, and went to your apartment. And when you were coming back, when you were going out, then you rang down in advance and a flunky would have your car ready for you when you got to the... It was awesome, man. And we had a stupid fallout. Very stupid. I used to frequent this cabaret club and I used to sing there. And they were like a little piano room, but they had a massive concert hall as well that did concerts once or twice a year. And I used to love just hanging out there. They were the nicest people in the world. One of my favourite places. It was just one of those cool, bohemian, amazing places with the nicest people. And we used to have jam sessions and I used to sing and I was like the cool token Englishman, and I did some of the concert stuff there. One of my claims to fame is, well, very limited claims to fame is, I don't know if you remember a song called Up Where We Belong, Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong, which was a hit for Jennifer Warnes and Joe Cocker. And Jennifer Warnes played this, the big monthly concert, played the concert hall, this venue, and I duetted with her, singing that. Anyway, and we had a stupid fallout, myself and Robin. She wanted a night in, snuggled up under a duvet with a pizza, watching a movie. And what a lovely thing for a couple to do. Except I didn't want to. There was something happening at the cabaret club and I wanted to go there and she didn't want to go. And I said, what about a compromise? I'll nip over for a couple of hours and I'll come back and we'll have a snuggle night and this, that and the other. And basically I was a total bastard and stayed out until about 3 o'clock in the morning. And she was very unhappy with me. And we had an argument. And that weekend, she took off to Vegas with her business partners without me. That annoyed me a little bit. And while she was in Vegas, I accidentally slept with her personal assistant who had a bit of a thing for me. And that made her even more angry. She made a mutual decision that I should move out forthwith. Anyway, that was that. Let's catch up with some comments. And it is that time of night, my loves, where we need to think about saying goodnight. Now that I've finally got all of that guff out of the way. So, cheers. Let's work through some comments. And let's, it's 10 to 1. Definitely time to think about saying goodnight. I've got curry to eat and you've got beds to go to. That is very nice. Oh, Chef Daniel is on the lakes of a loch in Galloway in an old Talbot camper. You are living my dream life. I dream of getting an old camper van. If I could bundle all of my cars into one and swap them for an old camper, I would do it in a heartbeat. That is my dream. Um, so fabulous. I hope you have a wonderful night. And I was going to say I wish I was there, but I kind of don't, because I'd I'd be in a old Talbot camper van with you and whoever is there with you, and I imagine I wouldn't be very welcome. But you know what I mean. I'd love to be in the situation that you are now. When did you change the channel name, Boaty? I did it on Tuesday night, I think. I've only just done it. I did it after hitting the 4,000 watch hours and before I hit the subs, because I finally accepted that the channel name was totally unsuitable. As I mentioned earlier, I think before you got here, people who look at the channel expecting car content are going to be disappointed, because there's so much other stuff, and even the stuff that is car content isn't like exclusively car content. And a lot of people weren't looking because they thought it was going to be car content. So the name was not doing me any favours. And on Monday night, somebody suggested for the second time, they'd mentioned it before, that the channel really should be called Boaty's World. And Tuesday night, I was thinking about it all night at work. And I knew it made sense. So Tuesday night, I got home from work and I just did it. I did an Etch-a-Sketch End of the World and I changed everything. There's probably still some bits I've got to do or need to redo better, like descriptions and things. But yeah, I changed the channel name, I changed the Facebook group name. So the Facebook group is now Boaty's World. Facebook page name changed, Boaty's World again. And I think I've still got Twitter, Instagram, which I don't use very much, but they will change as well. So yeah, it's the right thing to do. I think I've probably grown slower than I might have otherwise if I'd had a less specific channel name, because I'm sure that there must be people who watch the odd video but looked at the channel name and thought, well, I don't want to subscribe to that because it's going to be a load of car stuff. And of course it's not. It's just all of this nonsense. So there you go. I did it on Tuesday, and I think it was the right thing, and I hope you guys are all okay with it. People call, my event was Rainbow Craft. This is Tracy again. I joined in about 2002, 2003, I think, where you were late to the party, and was power seller by about 2004. I kind of went straight in messing. I joined Facebook in 2007, but not before I was on MySpace. I never did MySpace, and I never intended to do Facebook. I didn't want to do it particularly, but this will be another one for for my life story, whatever we call it. What did we call it? A potted history of Boaty. But yeah, to give you a brief glimpse into the future, in 2008, I was living in my Welsh cottage. By that time, I'd got married. I had 4 stepchildren who I adored and still do to this day. And unfortunately, something happened, which one day I'll tell you about, and that precipitated a separation. And basically, I'd bought a cottage at my home in South Wales, and we used it as a weekend and holiday place. And we all loved it, me, the wife, the kids. It was kind of magical. And something happened and we separated, and I was stuck living in Wales for 2.5 years. And it was a really low point because the thing that happened was a really bad thing. Not my fault, but screwed me up a lot. And looking back, I think I pretty much had a kind of nervous breakdown. And if I hadn't, from the thing itself, the fact that that thing precipitated the separation of my marriage certainly sent me over the edge. So I spent 2 years in exile, living at this Welsh cottage where, and that's another story to tell you. I did launch a business while I was there. I bought the bankrupt stock of a series of shops that catered to very fat people. Sorry, is that offensive? Very overweight people. And they had a chain of shops, and I bought their entire bankrupt stock, set up a business called Sumo Supplies, and sold it all mail order while I was hanging out in Wales. But I completely retreated from the world, and I just lived a real hermit life. I did nothing. I saw nobody. I just I didn't have a job. I didn't work. I didn't need to. And I had this business, and the only place I went was the post office and the takeaway. And for 2.5 years, I just hid away from the world like a hermit in this Welsh cottage, before we, got things sort of squared off and gave the marriage another go. And I sold the cottage and moved back, which I wish I hadn't done, but hey ho, these things happen, do they not? Why was I talking about that? Oh yeah, talking about joining Facebook. But yeah, Facebook kind of saved me during that time, because that was when I joined Facebook, when I was isolated in the cottage, and it proved to be a bit of a lifesaver. And I started my international Scrabble league, and discovered that a virtual life could save your sanity, because otherwise I would have ended up doing God knows what, because I was so bloody alone. And that was where I discovered that little virtual window can be a window onto the world and a saviour of your sanity, which is why I'm so passionate about doing what I do now with singles. And again, going back to the Christmas live stream, I know the difference it can make to people, because it made that difference to me. And that's why I'm passionate about doing it now. Indeed, the slogan, if you will, of my singles network is, you may be single, but you need never be truly alone. And I try to make sure that that's true. The next question is, why is mustard called mustard? I think it's because he puts mustard on everything, things that he shouldn't put mustard on. If he has a penguin, he puts mustard on it. The fucking weirdo. I think it is as simple as that. It is a more suitable name, I agree. Oh, somebody else not on Facebook. I'm not fat, just big boned. I enjoyed selling that stuff, and I liked the company name. The first thing I thought when I bought all of this stuff was, I need to put a positive slant, if possible, on being larger. And I came up with 2 ideas. One was for how to refer to larger people. And I'm fat. So if I talk about being fat, I'm not being offensive because I'm fat. I just use the descriptive term fat with no offense attached to it. I'm fat, I'm a fat person, and I'm not offended by that. Please don't be offended if you're overweight and I use the word fat. I'm not being offensive towards you. But I came up with 2 positive slants for that business. The first thing was, as a kid in the 80s, I used to watch the sumo wrestling on Channel 4, and I was obsessed by it. I loved it. Chiano Fuji was one of my absolute heroes. What a guy. And I thought, well, sumo is one of the few positive slants that you can put on being a big person. Because, what else can you think of where being big is equated with being great and successful and wonderful? So I called the business Sumo Supplies, which I thought was kind of inspired. And the other thing I came up with was, at the time I was heavily into Alexander McCall Smith's series of novels featuring the #1 lady detective agency, and Mara Motsway and Mr. J.L.B. Matacone, and the way that Precious Ramotswe referred to herself and all other big people was to say that they were traditionally built. And I believe that that is kind of thing in Africa, that if you are big, you are traditionally built. So I called the business Sumo Supplies, and I always referred to my clothing as being for the traditionally built gentleman, because it was all men's. And I think that was part of the reason why it was really quite successful. Certainly kept me going very nicely when I was in exile. You know, I didn't, I went short of lots of things. I went short of emotional stability, good mental health, company, female company, any sort of bloody company, but I didn't go short on money. So that was one blessing. And of course, my parents were still alive then, and they did used to visit me. So I wasn't. And in the last year of the separation, then when we were factoring together or getting back together in the marriage, then Mags and the kids did come and spend time with me, and I spent time back at the marital home. So. But you know, there was a time where it was pretty bloody pants. Anyway, there we are. Oh, okay. We're talking about. So I am Jimmy, super morbidly obese. Apparently, that's sexy. You know. Traditionally built. I think that's a lovely way of referring to it. The other thing I say about myself and my size is I refer to the fact that I have a veranda over the pleasure gardens. But yeah, traditionally built, I think that's a lovely way of putting it, because, you know, oh, I don't want to get into the debate over size and obesity epidemics and whatnot. I've got my thoughts and my feelings on it, and I've got my thoughts and my feelings on how it should be dealt with. But above all, I would never want to cause offence or hurt to anybody for any reason. So on that basis alone, I think traditionally built is a nice way of putting it. And it's gone 1 o'clock, my loves. We've gone well and truly over our hour and a half, and we've gone over 2 hours. I have whittled onto you for long enough. So I will have my last quarter of a puff. Let's start saying our good nights, and when I come back, I will turn you off. Obviously, thank you so much for your company as always. The next live stream will be on Monday, and I hope to see you all again then. And if any of you are watching who haven't subscribed, please subscribe and get your friends to subscribe. I want to hit 1,000. I'm so excited about it. But yeah, good night's coming up, turning off coming up. And I'm just going for a quick quarter of a puff. God, what a bloody clock. Oh, I've got an awesome curry there. Looking forward to that. Do you know what? I've noticed that now we're into full-on winter time, I'm staying up later at night and I'm getting up later in the morning. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing. I think it's natural because of the light situation and whatnot. And you know, what the hell are you going to get up for? And it's bloody cold first thing in the morning. And it's not like you're going to be going out and doing anything. It's like semi-hibernation. But I'm not sure how good it is for the mental health. But I'm doing it anyway. I enjoy the late night part of it. All of the best things happen after 1 o'clock. Oh, and I've forgot to talk to you about the online dating. I've joined Tinder. Tinder, can you believe it? There's a feature. Have any of you had any experiences with online dating, and how was it? We can talk about that for a long time. My singles lot could talk about it endlessly. There'd be lots of swear words. Speaking of my singles lot, did any of my singles lot come along tonight? I hope they did, and I hope that more of them will come along. It's anyway. It is a bit late for them, I suppose. And it is a school night, isn't it? Right, my loves. I'm going to bugger off, and I'm going to take my shoes off, and I'm going to put my slippers on. In fact, I haven't even got shoes on. I've got work boots on tonight. Check that out. So I'm going to get my slippers on, and I'm going to get my curry on the go, and I'm going to finish this bottle of wine, and it's all going to be all very nice. Thank you so much, as always. I love doing these. I absolutely love it. And, you know, it's you lot that make it all so special. So thank you so much. Enjoy your curry, Oblin. Good night, everyone. Chef Daniel says good night. GUU says good night to everybody. The Greenwood is saying good night, and she's saying thank you so much, everybody, for the subs. Don't forget subscriptions tonight. Your mission is subscribe to, if you haven't already, at Rainbow Beach with a picture of a Lego lady, Project MGTF, and of course Beards and Bangers. And let's get those channels roaring, because they're one of us, and we're all in this together, aren't we? Diddly do, diddly do. Jimmy Queen says good night, Jimmy. If I can't watch Monday, I'll do a catch up on Tuesday. Yeah, I know, your live stream. You know what we should do? One Monday night, we shouldn't do a live stream, and we should all go and gate crash my mate Steve's, and just totally gate crash it. I've done that before I started doing these myself. I did gate crash it myself once, and asked a series of fairly bizarre questions to try and throw the co-hosts off their whack. I think that, Trace, was that the week after I co-hosted and just tried to put the willies up you all? It was when you and Matey were doing it. That could be fun to do one Monday, couldn't it? Stephen S. Paul wishes us all a good night from the other side of the herring pond. Good night, sir. Sexy leg. Matthew Harrison. Oh, he's done the buggering Huff joke again. He says good night to everybody. And yeah, there we are. That is it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Monday Night Live with me, Boaty, and all of you fabulous, amazing people that make this whole thing worthwhile. And I hope you all have a safe and peaceful night. I can't wait to catch you all next time, and stay safe, stay warm, stay healthy, and stay blessed. Thank you so much. And it's the bit where I can't find the button to press again. Oh, I've got it. Right, that's it. Sweet dreams, my lovelies. Good night.